It's 10 o'clock and the night team is on.
Two big stories developing right now.
Record rain and relentless flooding.
Broward County reeling from days of downpours.
It's never been this high.
Neighborhoods soaked, strangers becoming saviors.
Drivers with nowhere to go.
If this vehicle had gone another 2 or 3 feet, it might have gone down that embankment.
Roads looking like rivers and entire cities underwater.
Also, cause of concern, kids playing in oily, dirty, dangerous water.
There's all kinds of fecal material from animals and sometimes from humans as well.
Tonight, a warning for parents.
A day of heavy rainfall across South Florida, and we're not done yet. Plenty more rain sitting in the Gulf of Mexico, aiming for us.
We have live night team coverage of a Wednesday night weather alert.
And tonight's other big story.
On the record.
The night team live in Washington, D.C. as the former FBI director prepares to testify before Congress. Tonight, what he's expected to say about his private conversations with the president.
Hello and welcome, everybody. I'm Balkis Naray.
And I'm Jeff Lennox, and for Craig Stevens, 7 News at 10 starts now.
This is 7 News at 10. This is a 7 News weather alert.
First at 10, the weather alert. Drenching downpours storming in across South Florida for a third straight night.
That clap of thunder booming and heavy rain coming down in downtown Miami.
Live pictures from Davie where floodwaters are rising up. Residents soaked. Much of that city swamped.
And some kids dashing into the deep floodwater, but doctors say what's below the surface is downright dangerous. Hello again, another surge of storms slamming South Florida, and believe it or not, we're not done yet.
Nope, we have crews across the area covering the record rainfall, the damage, and what's coming next. Chief Meteorologist Phil Farrow starts us off with that. Phil?
Hi, good evening, everyone. The rain continues all across South Florida. Here's the storm tracker once again. For a third straight day, we have that plume of moisture moving out of the Gulf of Mexico, now across the Florida Keys, heading through the mainland and moving from west to east, impacting the northwestern Bahamas as well. Plenty of heavy rain and lightning. Here's what you need to know. There's a street flood watch for Miami-Dade and Broward counties until 2 o'clock in the morning. A street flood advisory for Dade and Broward until 11:30 p.m. There is a flood warning for northern Broward until 11:15 p.m. More rain overnight and then again expected on Thursday. So here's the live radar. We will focus in on Broward County. You have seen the brunt of all of this heavy rain. It continues to move offshore here, but for the time being from Deerfield Beach through Fort Lauderdale into Pembroke Pines, light to moderate rainfall, heavier rain still moving in across Coral Springs and the Sawgrass Expressway. Into the Miami-Dade, light to moderate rainfall from the county line through downtown Miami, Lakes by the Bay, and Homestead, at times accompanied by some gusty winds and plenty of lightning. And tonight also the Keys getting hit pretty hard with some strong thunderstorms from Key West all the way into Key Largo, and you are not done yet. So here are the advisories. There's a street flood warning until 11:15. We could see an additional ½ inch to an inch tonight. This ground is already saturated. That could lead to imminent flooding at any time. Meanwhile, there is a street flood advisory south of 5595 into Miami-Dade all the way into 11:30 p.m. This just means that if it continues raining, there is a chance for some more street flooding. And then because the ground is already saturated across Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade, any additional rainfall will surely lead to some more standing water, and this will remain in effect until 2 o'clock in the morning. We will have the very latest on all the rainfall a little bit later on.
Night team coverage continues now. The fierce flooding leaving cars swamped and drivers stranded. Tow trucks working round the clock and strangers becoming rescuers.
Right now, the night team's Nicole Ensalada is live in Plantation to continue our coverage. Nicole?
Well, and Jeff, you know, the rain is still coming down. We're in East Plantation now, and talk about saturated ground. We have seen it everywhere. We've been this evening. In fact, I want to show you this tree here behind me that finally gave way. Now, some of the neighbors here say that it's been giving them some trouble for a while. They knew that this thing was due to basically fall over at some point. Some folks from the city were here to block all of this off, but they believe that all of this rain and all of this water that's collected on the ground here could not have helped. Have you ever seen it like this before?
Oh, man, no, actually, not even with hurricanes.
Thank goodness not a lot of wind, but a whole lot of water. Broward streets and yards saturated from relentless rains. And Wednesday afternoon, it kept coming down. Walter Chow of Plantation Acres waiting for his wife to come home, knowing she hitched a ride on a friend's SUV. It's the only way she could get down this street safely.
But I sort of wish it would stop raining.
Just a few miles away, residents taking to boats to maneuver around. At American Heritage School, the baseball diamond and football field underwater. And in Sunrise,
I got stalled in the water last night. Water was very deep right there. And further back, the water wasn't that deep. But here it's much deeper, so I just ran into it and got stalled out.
this is one of the dangers of high water like this. It's not so bad right here on the roadway. We are in Plantation Acres on the south side, but as you keep going, right here, it gets a lot deeper. It's even difficult to see. I know that I'm on the grass, I can feel it, and there's a grate right over there. But then at a certain point, I really don't know how deep it's going to get. I'm told there's a canal that begins right around here somewhere, and that's what neighbors are afraid of, that someone unfamiliar with these streets will drive into a situation like this and end up in a heck of a lot of trouble. Flooded streets in Coral Springs, high water at the Sawgrass Mills parking lot, forcing the mall to close for the day. And for those whose cars are stuck here, this is no joke.
As soon as I cut my wheel, I guess they have a ditch in the parking lot, and my car went straight in there, like I couldn't back my car, nothing. It got stuck. I had water all the way up to my waistline. Fortunately, strangers on hand to help others in the same predicament. And people not the only ones seeking a dry spot. In Weston, these two spotted along a residential road. It is South Florida, after all. And out on the roadways, you may see some barricades like this. The most important thing is to pay attention to them and do not go around them, because as we've mentioned, we are seeing so many roads that are so flooded, and once again, you just don't know how deep they are. You don't know what you might be running over. You don't know if there's a pothole. So the best thing to do is to stay on roads where you can actually see what you're driving on. Reporting live in Plantation, Nicole Ensalado, 7 News 19.
Good advice. All right, Nicole.
And from Plantation to Davie, fierce flooding turning parts of that city into a water world. The night team's Walter Morris joins us live with more. Walter.
Well, Jeff, I'm standing off Hiatus Road in Southwest 22nd Court. You can see the floodwaters are so high, you can't even tell where the street stops. In fact, some people using paddle boards to get around. And after these days of rain, many neighbors saying they're not sure how much more they can take. Inches and in some places more than a foot of floodwater left behind after another day of heavy downpours in Davie.
I'm worried about my vehicle, my neighbors' vehicles. The water was just starting to recede and now it's coming back up.
Residents of the Paradise Village community already battling standing water from the day before, bracing for another round of rain.
Can't tell the lake from the road. So, I mean, it's really scary.
Earlier in the day, 7 News drone cam getting a bird's eye view from above. Davie streets looking like rivers, and in one place, people using an inflatable raft on the road. An airboat seen cruising down the street, and the Red Cross setting up a reception center on Southwest 5th Court near 134th Terrace. They're keeping an eye on the rising water and watching utilities, ready to help in places where the power goes out.
People with disabilities, elderly people, or young families with children or families with children. Those are usually the most vulnerable.
Some stacking sandbags to fight the rising water and asking the city to step in.
We have water inside our garage at least 2 inches deep. You know, we understand that everyone is flooded, but we were just trying to get some answers. Who needs to come out here to help us reduce this flood?
And as the rain kept coming and the water crept up Wednesday evening, many saying all they can do is wait it out and hope for the best.
What are you going to do? You can't stop it, you know, so what else can you do?
And at last update from the Red Cross, they say they've been talking and working with about a dozen families, but so far they haven't received any reports of people being forced from their homes. But of course, that could change. Live in Davie, Walter Morris, 7 News 19.
All right, thank you, Walter.
Now to Miami, rocked by rain, thunder, and lightning tonight.
The night team Sheldon Fox continues our live team coverage right now. Sheldon?
And Jeff and Belkis, we're still getting rocked by rain right this minute. Continues to come down, and anybody who's been outside in any capacity today and tonight is used to it, just like me.